Well, welcome to Partners in Ministry. My name is Dan Smith, and today my guest is Steve Finn. Steve is the Executive Director of Chestnut Mountain Ranch in Morgantown, West Virginia. In this interview, we're going to discuss social enterprise, the ins and outs of a business to help fund your ministry. Well, welcome, Steve, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Dan. It's good to be here again.
Now, Chestnut Mountain Ranch has developed a very unique way of helping to fund their ministry through business partnerships called social enterprises. How in the world did you come up with this idea?
So a number of years ago, about 10 years ago, we opened a thrift store in town and it took off. And I saw the advantage of this thrift store, not only bringing in revenue to our ministry, our children's home, but I saw that it was a place that some of our boys could work and begin to learn a work ethic, whether it was with a broom and a dustpan, sorting clothes, and then all the way up to running the cash register. But we also began teaching life skills through paying these young men a decent wage where they would begin to save for their first car, learn how to manage that money, not give it away to addicted family members. All their world of managing money became a factor, a learning factor. And then it became a touch point into our business community. And I realized that, we have a 26,000 square foot thrift store in the center of a college town. And it was getting the word out about Chestnut, because, a lot of our children's homes are kind of tucked away. They're on the mountainside. They're a little bit outside of town. And the thrift store was putting us on the map. And so we started seeing some other gifts start rolling in from people that had visited and maybe donated a couch. Next thing I know, they're helping us build a boys' home. Wow. And so I started thinking about what other ways could we get plugged into this business community, something that was profitable, something that was simple, and something that the boys could get plugged into at some point in their journey. And my attention just kept getting drawn back to this existing Quick Lube in town. It'd been there for about 20 years. They were not doing a good job. I think they were selling more than oil out of the facility, if you know what I mean. And I was kind of watching for a while, and I'd see cars pull in and pull out very quickly, and no hood would go up. And I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. And then I finally figured out who the owner was, and he lived about an hour and a half away. He owned a number of Jiffy Lubes or Quick Lubes. And when I brought the idea of talking to him about purchasing that, he jumped on it because I think he knew that he was unable to manage because of the distance, and he felt like the staff there was taking advantage of him. And so we actually talked the very next day, and this idea of, and I kind of talked through it with him about his desire to sell, my vision for change your oil, change your life. And I think he was more interested in just unloading the business. And so we were able to get it for a very good price, and we shut it down. We got rid of everybody. We shut it down for about 2 months. And we decided, we came up with this mission statement, change your oil, change your life. And we cast this vision out to all the big oil providers. And then we sat back and waited, and Valvoline bit hard. They came back and they said, tell us more about this. And they came and toured our facility. They came and toured the ranch. They met the boys. They met the staff. They looked at the location. At the time, that Quick Lube was doing about 23 cars a day on average. And these oil companies bring in an algorithm. They bring in this metric test of what your maximum car count could be. And so what they did was population density, number of cars going by every day, median household income, and historical data on other Quick Lubes. And so they bring all this in, and they said, you guys could probably grow this from 20 to 35 cars but that's your peak is 35 cars a day, and that's going to be very profitable. And so, and what they didn't have in their algorithm is this ministry factor of change your oil, change your life. And by the end of our second year, we were setting national sales records. And we're right now about 90 cars a day at that facility.
Three times?
Almost three times the amount of what they projected. And it's because people locked into the vision. People will drive an extra distance and pass a couple of their facilities just to get to us because they know,
sure,
hey, I'm going to go get my oil changed today, and I'm going to help a kid.
Yeah,
and they're going to go. And we have decorated the inside of that facility so a person sitting in their car, they can look around and just see big signage, pixelated window wrappings of children. And they get a brochure as they're sitting there getting their oil changed, and they understand, hey, I'm doing more than just because all the proceeds come over to help benefit our operations.
Sure. Yeah. So you've touched on a little bit. You've got two types of business that you're using to fund your ministry. One is the thrift store, and one is a quick lube through Valvoline, right? Those are the two. Are there any others that you're using right now?
Well, we've got two quick lubes now. We just opened a second one, and it is taken off. So we have our town essentially. We have a small college town here with about, I don't know, there's probably 40,000 residents and another 30,000 college students. And so we have the town bookend. We've got our ranch quick lube on either side of the town now, and they're nice facilities. They're in good areas. We have learned that. Being visible from the road, being near a grocery store, there's certain things that help boost the awareness of, because people don't know. A lot of times people will be driving around the town running other errands, and then they realize, oh, I got to get my oil changed. And
sure.
Then they make that decision to help the ranch at the same time.
Sure. Sure, you've also got other businessmen that have been donating to the ranch. So how is a business owner making a donation to the ranch different than a social enterprise? Well, what's the difference between those two?
Well, being a business is your goal is to profit for self-gain or for the corporation or for having a social enterprise is owning a business that will or doing, okay, think about this. Back in our day, churches had bake sales.
Right.
Back in our childhood, churches had rummage sales. They would do things to generate money for a new playground or some new pews. They would get the word out by having a car wash. This is that on steroids. This is just,
sure.
I think it's being wise. I think it's being a good steward. We've chosen two business models that are not complicated. We don't get into vehicle repairs. We don't get in, we've kind of kept it simple. They kept it speedy. The thrift store is moving stuff in and out very quickly. We've got a very nice environment there. We have taken the extra time to kind of create a place of social gathering. But the quick lubes, customers don't get out of their cars. They can if they want to go into our lobby or use the restroom, but we give them that experience of just staying in their car, talking to them. We've got them engaged. We can tell them about the ranch. We give them a bottle of water, give them a brochure, and the experience is it's growing the ministry through this grassroots movement of customers. So, so the difference between having a business and a social enterprise is they both give you a footprint in the business community, which is something else we could talk about. But it's also given it gives our children's home an income and a place to teach. that is very valuable, not only for our operational budget, but giving us a platform to just pour into these young men that we serve.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. In what ways, as you look at funding for a ministry altogether, how is a social enterprise the same as or different from an endowment?
Well, I didn't even realize this. I had a director of. This is a good question. So I had a director of a children's home visiting here several months ago, and this gentleman has been doing it for over 40 years, and he's raised a good endowment, but he was really kind of peeking at our social enterprise, and he said, and he saw the numbers. He saw like the numbers that were quarterly were being distributed into our operations. And he said, this is just like an endowment. And I said, oh, you know what? You're right. He said, you've got this thing over here that is pumping life into your operations. And, that is what an endowment does. You've got a pool of money that is raising 4, 6, 7%. On a regular basis, and having a business in the community is doing the same thing. But I think it's doing more than that, because not only is we have 3 businesses, so we have 2 Quick Lubes and a thrift store right now. We're probably going to grow and add a 3rd Quick Lube, but we're kind of easing into it. We're looking at the next town down, 20 minutes away. We know the model works. We know it gives you an edge over your competition. People will come to you even if you're $5 more. It's a good cause.
Sure.
And so, and Valvoline has been great to work with. They are, well, we're selling their oil for one thing, but
Right.
they're very locked in on the mission of Chestnut Mountain Ranch. We're here to help children. We're turning lives around. We're breaking that generational curse. We're doing it through an oil change. Wow. How about that? And so we're looking at expanding. But right now we've got these 3 businesses that are they're right here in our town. They're close, and they're plugging us into the business community where we're getting invited to business meetings. We're getting invited to Rotary clubs are made up of business owners.
Sure.
Social clubs, dinners. Now we can tap into that community that's here, and those people have resources. Those people ask, "Hey, I just got an extra load of drywall. Hey, do you want to go golfing this weekend and talk about the next home that you're going to put up?" Like those conversations organically happen. You're able to fill your calendar up better with lunches with people that. You're able to stop in and see people on their business, and have a cup of coffee with somebody that maybe had been standoffish before. And it's been a great platform for us to just get plugged in.
Sure.
I had a lot of people early on saying, I'm not sure you should do this. This is not a place for a nonprofit to be. And I thought, man, I'm not sure where that mindset's coming from, because I think it's a great place to be. I mean, I could see how the tail could wag the dog if you let things get out of balance. But I think if you keep it simple and you keep it mission focused, man, it can be such a benefit to the operations, to the community. And you're creating jobs. That's a whole other factor. Like we've got these young men and women working at our facility. We've got really nice uniforms. Everybody's got the Ranch Quick Lube, change your oil, change your life. It's on the back of our shirts. And there's a sense of pride. Like if you go to a normal Quick Lube, hey, I'm changing your oil, out the door. But these guys are like, hey, I'm helping kids. Right. I'm helping kids. Thank you for helping us help kids. Everybody's kind of doing this buy-in thing, and it's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. You need to come visit us and see this thing.
You bet. So they're both similar in that both a social enterprise and an endowment generated income stream to support the ministry. But the biggest difference is the impact that social enterprise has in exposure and relationship building with people and people in the community.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. As well as, which ties into my next question, you can't integrate an endowment into your programming plans with the boys at the ranch, but it sounds like you sure can with these social enterprises. You can integrate programming and this business as a part of what you're doing at the ranch.
That's right. That's right. And you could even structure, like if somebody is wanting to start an endowment or grow an endowment, you could even get to a place, and I've been thinking about this lately, where we've got like 25, we've got 3 businesses helping 25% of our revenue right now. And if we create another quick lube in the coming years, you could designate one of those businesses to just feed an endowment.
Sure.
And then you've got this double investment thing going,
right?
Where you're helping build this financial stability of your ministry. At the same time, you're creating the social enterprise.
Which is exactly what Hershey did. And man, talk about an endowment, using their business to build an endowment to support kids. I mean, that thing is massive, which is basically what you're right on the edge of right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So with every plus, there's usually always a downside. So have you experienced any kind of a downside with these adventures?
The bigger you get, the bigger you're a bigger target. And you're going to get the complaints, you're going to get the lawsuits, you're going to get, and I've told my staff, I said, look, hey, we're in a small town. This isn't Atlanta. This is Morgantown, West Virginia. Let's take the high ground, even if it hurts. And let's just get around this. I can remember early on, we had a young lady, single lady, didn't have a lot of means, but she had a 300,000 mile car. She threw a rod, burned her engine up on the interstate after an oil change, 2,500 miles after an oil change. So it wasn't like, we all knew this wasn't related. But I told them, hey, let's find her a new engine. Let's keep her running. And my staff took turns driving over to her house in the morning, picking her up and taking her to work until we could get her wheels again. And man, that spread. Where she was coming in upset, that paid dividends. And but yeah, there are the situations where we have to just take it on the chin. We got a lot of business. And, we're doing 90 cars a day at one facility. The other facility that just opened up is, I think, at 35 or 40 cars a day right now. But on a good day, we're hitting over 150 cars between the two. And you got somebody in there is going to get upset, and just take the high ground. Don't argue. And now we have learned to set up. We've got a pretty extensive camera system in the quick loops now. So we can go back and see every step that we have taken. Sure. And we can show the customer that everything was tight and put on properly, and correct oil filter. Everything's like, they even hold the filter up to the camera to show the number. So everything's just very methodical and to protect us in those things. But like I said, I think that there has not been a lot. To answer your question, Dan, there has not been a lot of regret or downside. Like this has been it's been a blessing to us. It really has, and it's been a fun journey. We all the fun factor has been there. I mean, we all fly our desk off, to probably more than we should. We sit here and we write and we type an email. But for me to go down to the thrift store and just get into the donation lane, or go down to the quick lube and walk out and thank customers, man, it's so refreshing to me in my day to take a half an hour and go down there and just interact with those that are rolling through there. It refreshes my soul, and I think it's a good point of contact to people that are helping us.
Sure. When you come up with new ideas, one of the things when people are considering it and they a little bit scared of the thing, they'll say, well, we can't do a quick lube, or that really won't work for us. First of all, it doesn't have to be an oil change business or a thrift store, does it?
Oh, no. I mean, I've run into other nonprofits that have greenhouses that produce flowers that they sell. I know another one in Atlanta that takes in donated cars, and they've got an addiction ministry, so they've got plenty of guys on hand to wrench on these cars and get them back on the road, and then they sell the cars. I know there's a print shop attached to this one nonprofit. That was their lane. The owner, the staff understood that by purchasing and investing in high quality printers and software, that they could create a business around where the people that they were ministering to were actually learning how to navigate some of the software, create, like newsletters and so they were doing this for businesses and generating money. But I think I've been probably a thrift guy, and I've been a car guy most of my life. So that's what kind of pulled me my attention towards these two areas, and it's been blessed. But I think for somebody that's listening, think about it, pray about it. Like what skills and interests do you have? It might be a restaurant. You might be able to open up a pizza place that just goes through the roof. And you're making pizzas for children. The benefit, I don't know. Just think about different ways to step into this. I know we are teaching other nonprofits the baby, like the A, B's, and C's of kind of easing into this. We've had a number of children's homes around the country that are peeking under the hood and saying, "Hey, how did you guys get started? How much does it cost to get started? Who do I call in Valvoline? Does my area would my area support this?" And kind of getting past some of those fears, because you're running this through board members, you're running this through staff, and it is a big undertaking. I mean, at first, to get the engine cranked up, it's an all hands on deck. I mean, it's for a few months, everybody's kind of got to shift their focus to get the engine started.
Yeah. Well, it's no different than a capital campaign. I don't know if anybody's been part of a nonprofit that's trying to do a capital campaign for facility updates and whatever. I mean, it is a grind, but it pays off. The difference is this pays off over and over and over and over and over again, month after month and year after year. So, hey, guys, this is some great information, Steve. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Hey, if you're considering possibility of starting a social enterprise for you, you'd like some more information about it, or if you just plain like to learn more about Chestnut Mountain Ranch, you can see Steve's contact information here on the screen. You can also find it in the show notes for this episode on our website or the description of this YouTube video. On behalf of Chestnut Mountain Ranch, Steve Finn, and Partners in Ministry, I want to thank you for joining us. And until next time, let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.